What's up, friends? Welcome back to Heal You. I'm your girl, Shai, and it's still my birthday month. And we got a lot of vibes going on over here. I'm loving this journey we've been on together, finding joy, creating space to breathe. And now, this week, we're diving into something just as powerful: graceful growth. This episode I titled Evolving in Grace, Growth Without the Pressure. Because healing doesn't have to hurt all the time. Transformation doesn't have to come from burnout. You can grow without guilt. You can expand without overwhelm. You can evolve intentionally with love, with softness, and with peace. So come on, let's get started on this week's episode. We live in a culture that treats growth like a race. Hustle faster, achieve more, heal harder. But what if your growth doesn't need to be rushed? What if your growth doesn't need to be loud? Real growth is a rhythm. A breath in, breath out kind of process. A rhythm. That's it. A rhythm. It's gentle. It's layered. It can be slow. And still, my friends, be sacred. Some weeks you bloom. Some weeks you rest. However, both are essential. I want you to give yourself permission to grow at your own pace. Because, friends, you're not behind. You're not too late. You're exactly where you're meant to be, evolving into your own beautiful way. A rhythm. A rhythm. So let's be real. Pressure will sneak in. Whether it's from society, family, social media, or your own perfectionism. It's easy to believe that growth has to look a certain way. But pressure steals the joy of the process. It disconnects you from your why. Pressure tricks you into thinking that more is always better, or that your healing journey isn't valid unless it's dramatic or visible. How many of you can relate? But friends, here's the truth. Purpose doesn't need pressure to be powerful. And I'll say that again. Purpose does not need pressure to be powerful. When you lead with intention and not obligation, your growth becomes more aligned and more nourishing. So instead of pushing yourself toward a version of success that doesn't feel truth, come back to your purpose. Question yourself. Ask yourself, what feels aligned? What feels sustainable? What feels peaceful? Give yourself the grace to say, this is enough for today, and mean it. You don't have to prove anything. You're already enough. Evolving doesn't mean fixing every part of you right away. It means uncovering more of who you've always been. Give yourself grace, friends. And now on to the segment that I love, softness. Softness isn't weakness, it's wisdom. It's awareness. It's choosing to respond with care rather than force. It's choosing peace, even when chaos tries to call you back. That brought me to a statement that I used last week on my birthday trip. I said to my friends that I love so much, when we get back and I know that everyone is okay, don't y'all expect to hear from me for 2 weeks. And I asked them not to take offense to it. And it wasn't because the trip was horrible. It was phenomenal. We had a lot of connection, a lot of fun, a lot of laughing, a little bit of crying. But it was a phenomenal trip. I just know my boundaries. And I know that I'm in my soft girl era and I need peace. And we often associate growth with hustle, with grit, with breaking down before breaking through. But what if, friends, we flipped the narrative? What if growth could be gentle? What if healing could feel like coming home, not running from your past, but honoring your path? You don't need to grind your way to growth. You can speak kindly to yourself. You can set boundaries gently. You can walk forward slowly and still be powerful. My soft girl era is about embracing wholeness without apology, letting go of pressure, letting in peace, and evolving through self-compassion. And I ask you, what's one soft way you can show up for yourself this week? One. That's how you start. Maybe it's something like taking a nap without guilt, saying not today to things that stretch you thin, journaling instead of spiraling. Write it down. This is a big one. Asking for help. I know I can add that to my list for the week. Celebrating small wins. Friends, these are all acts of grace. These are moments of becoming. This is you rewriting what strength looks like. This is you claiming you and finding peace in who you are. So let's normalize growth that feels good. Growth that doesn't come with burnout or emotional exhaustion. Growth that invites you to breathe. Growth that invites you to smile. Growth that invites you to enjoy who you are becoming. You are allowed to grow without pressure. You are allowed to evolve in joy. You are allowed to transform with ease. So this week, don't measure your growth by how fast you're moving. Measure it by how true it feels. Are you being kind to yourself? Are you aligned with your values? Are you creating space to enjoy the journey? If no one's told you lately, I see your progress. I feel your energy. And guess what? I'm cheering you on in every soft, powerful step you take. So let's carry this energy forward. Let's repeat it over and over again. Let's share it with those that we love, the people we know are struggling, working to find a way to be better versions of themselves. It's time to bring out the softness and growth and healing. It's time to evolve in who we are. It's time to give ourselves the opportunity to experience peace while we're healing, to slow down through the process, to ensure that we give ourselves more grace to grow, to bloom, to become the best versions of ourselves. All right, friends, it's all about growth and slowing down to the rhythm. To give yourself the time to relax, to enjoy, to focus on you, to remove the chaos, to work on the softness that we each bring to be in the evolution of ourselves. All right, don't miss out on our next episode, Becoming the Version of You That You Actually Like. Because healing, friends, is also about liking who you're becoming. Ooh, not just surviving your transformation. Ooh, that one's going to be a word. I look forward to it. So until next week, it's your girl Shai here. And thank you for joining me on Heal You Podcast, where we grow with grace, we move with purpose, and live with intention. See you next week.